Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another impromptu live stream. I just decided to sit down and fire up the computer and see who all might join tonight for a little bit of a conversation. We've had a lot of things going on the last couple of weeks, and unlike the last live stream where I was really just trying to unwind and get us past what I thought was kind of a difficult period for the entire country at that point. Tad, glad to see you're here. Thank you very much. I thought tonight's live stream, I'm actually feeling a little, I guess, annoyed, and I'm annoyed particularly with YouTube. And one of the frustrations that I'm having is I've been experimenting a little bit today, today with sending out notices for a video tomorrow. And it seems like very few of my subscribers are actually getting these notices. And I'm just, again, feeling annoyed. I'm looking for some support from all of you and hopefully for a good conversation. John Rhee is here. Good morning, John. Glad you joined us from Guam. Hod8 is here. Glad to see you. SunnyCat85, thanks for joining us. McFasto, thanks for coming. And Charles Cook is here also. So thanks to all of you for joining. As usual, I don't really have a script for the live stream tonight or anything like that, but I'm hoping that we get some good conversation going back and forth, get some good questions from all of you, and we just basically enjoy our Friday night. Smash the like button. Please do smash the like button. As I was saying a couple of minutes ago, I've had some issues with YouTube here lately, and I'm just feeling a little annoyed this evening, I guess, which is why I decided to sit down and enjoy this live stream or have this live stream. Sunday already for John Rhee. All right. You're way ahead of us. It's only Friday here. It's 7:41 on a Friday night here in Northern Ohio. So you're almost 2 full days ahead of us, John. Tad is saying he's been noticing that he gets all notifications, messages, etc. on the app, but not on the computer. And there's an odd thing that I see too, and this is strange. I will get a notice on my phone whenever somebody posts a comment on one of the videos. And there are a lot of times that I look at my phone and I see the comment, and when I click on it or touch it, normally it would take me to the YouTube app, and I could put a response down to those comments, which is how I respond to a lot of you when you put comments on the videos. But there are a suspicious number of times where I will click on those comments and it goes to the YouTube app and it says comment not found. It's almost as though someone or some computer maybe has gone in there and deleted those comments. There's one particularly from one viewer who almost every time he posts a comment, and there's nothing wrong with the comments. They're very good comments. They're very positive and all that. But almost every time he posts a comment, when I click on it and go to the app, it says comment not found. And I find that to be rather suspicious too. He is in another country, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. But it's frustrating. It's annoying dealing with YouTube. And I don't know. I guess, like I said, I'm just feeling aggravated this evening. Charles Lanier says, go to Telegram. It's so much better. It's so awesome. I actually put the Telegram app on my phone the other day. The gentleman that I was talking about that constantly gets his comments deleted sent me something saying he was going to Telegram. So I put that on there. So I can communicate back and forth with him. But the thing is, and you'll hear other YouTube content contributors say this, the vast majority of the audience is on YouTube. So if you go to another provider, whoever it might be out there, and you start to upload videos, you're going to instantly shrink your audience. Here on YouTube currently, I don't know if anyone's looked, but I've got gaining on 34,000 subscribers, which on one hand is nice, but on the other hand, if only maybe 10% of that 34,000 get notices when I send something out, all of a sudden my audience shrinks. And when I look at the analytics and I look at the number of what YouTube calls not exposures, but there's a word for it that escapes me right now. It's when they put the notices up for all of you out there to know when I've posted a video. There is it's almost like there's a limitation put on it for the number of people that is impressions. That's what they call it. That those impressions are going to go out to. And you'll see one of my videos when I look at it to begin with. When I very first post it, there will be kind of a peak in the impressions, and then it tends to flatline, which tells me that they're not showing that new video to really very many people at all out there. And I think there would be more people watching the videos if they knew about them. I don't think my videos are that bad. All of you can correct me if I'm wrong. If you think the videos that I've been putting out lately have not been all that great, let me know. But I feel like I'm putting out some of the best videos now that I ever have, and just seeing YouTube not support that. And to a degree, I understand what they're doing. They are trying to promote the videos from the channels that make them the most money, which is the channels with the most subscribers. It's the biggest channels. But in so doing, channels that might be able to grow and start to make them more and more money are more or less suppressed because they're not promoting the videos that are put out. So I've been trying to do this on my own. And if you noticed the last couple of days, I've had several videos out there to promote my premiere video tomorrow, the one that's on the favorite firearms movie scenes, my top 10 favorite firearms movie scenes. I put several of them out there today to try to reach out to some of you that might not get those notifications, and see if there might be a way that I can circumvent YouTube, or maybe try to put more and more out there and hopefully reach more and more of you. And I don't think it's really working. Hence the live stream this evening. And I've got some more comments over here. I need to go back to the feed. Eric Smiley gives me a thumbs up. Charles Lanier, cool emoji. Let's see. Tad is saying could be worse. You could be a billionaire, Wall Street losing money. That's true. That's true. Wow, I should have invested in GameStop stock some time ago, huh? Joe Morgan is here. Hi, Joe. Hope your dad is feeling well. Hope you're doing okay. The Jim Bowman is saying having a plan B is always a good, plus you could influence others to move to another platform. I really wish there was a firearms content friendly platform out there somewhere, something where everyone who is interested in firearms and interested in these kind of videos would go to, sort of like YouTube, to be able to watch the various videos that people would post there. That said, the other thing with YouTube, and probably something we can't overlook, is the ability to reach people who currently are outside the firearms community and try to bring them into the fold. And that's another thing that happens with YouTube. And if it was a firearms specific platform, we might not reach that broader audience and maybe even bring them into the firearms owners or firearms enthusiast group. Dale Kidd is here. Hey, Dale, how are you doing? Glad to see you made it. And good evening, surprise to see you tonight. Yeah, this was not planned. I was saying earlier, I'm just kind of annoyed tonight. I decided to sit down and fire up the computer and just try to have a conversation with all of you. Dan the Wolfman is here from catchjitsu.com. Says, oh yeah, any freedom lovers of true speakers are absolutely an enemy of big tech. YouTube has basically shadow banned him, and that I don't know if I want to say that I'm being shadow banned. I know I'm reaching some of you out there, and please don't take this as anything derogatory toward any of you. I very much appreciate all of the support that I get from you folks. all of the positive comments, all of the participation on YouTube. Probably the best viewers on the internet. You are just a tremendous, tremendous group, and I never want you to not know how much I appreciate all of your support. And where were we on here? I got to go back to the feed here. YouTube hates the Second Amendment. It feels that way. Do more Glock videos and more people will tune into it. Maybe that's my problem. I'm just not picking the right firearms. Joe Morgan says YouTube is thinking. YouTube hates free thinking. It could be. JTH Elf, GTHR Elf. Hey, hi to you. Charles Cook, Blanton's on Blanton's or Buffalo Trace. Nope. Plain old Jim Beam here. My wife and I just came back from having a nice evening meal, and I thought I would have an after dinner drink, so I've got that here with me. Luke B is here. Says, good evening from Oklahoma. Good evening, Luke. Thanks for joining. John Reed noticed that recently watched a video and the notifications show up. But if he doesn't watch the video or a similar video, he doesn't get the notifications. That's some of the hocus pocus that YouTube does, is they send out the initial notifications to what they consider to be the most interested viewers, the ones that watch the most videos. And then depending on the reaction of those viewers, if it's very positive, then they send it out to the next tier, which is the next most interested group, and then so forth and so on. When you see a viral video, it means that each group that they send video notices out to, a significant portion of them are watching those videos. So they send out the impressions to more and more people. That's how those videos go viral. Luke B finally bit the bullet, finished building 100% arrow lower. Now if you just get an arrow upper, hopefully you can find that. And right now it seems like firearms and AR components are a little easier to find. It's ammunition that's just nowhere to be found. Catch Jitsu, honestly, I think it's supposed to be Pornhub, probably has all the data sharing infrastructure that leads to GunHub. Yeah, and that's another annoying thing with YouTube. And I've said this before. I go out of my way to make videos that are not offensive, that are family friendly, that everyone can enjoy. And I feel like sometimes if I picked another topic, if I had a video on how to tattoo a swastika on babies or something like that, that it would have less restrictions placed on it than the videos that I put out that have firearms content. Luke B, more of a lever gun person. If they're going to ban them, hopefully they won't. But you got to love a good lever gun. Jagger VW, former Buckeye, U.S. Army Armored Cavalry. Thank you for your service. Really enjoy your content. Thanks and God bless. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thomas Fox, hello HR from Central Vermont. Hello, Thomas. Thank you for joining. Joe Morgan, in-range loaded to Pornhub. Really? We all fans, so we know the schedule. Okay. Dale Kidd, reference new platforms. Warrior Poet is currently set up a new platform, and it might be promising. A number of major firearms YouTube influencers are moving forward. Well, good. So I'll try to keep an eye on that. It would be nice if we would get something that was very receptive out there where we could post these videos. Luke B, you and Paul Harrow are the only firearms YouTubers that I listen to. Well, thank you. I feel like I'm in good company. I enjoy watching Paul. I think his videos are great. To be mentioned in the same sentence with him, I take as a compliment. So thank you very much. Charles Cook, oorah, oorah, Charles, semper fi. Jason Long, hey HR, thanks for all the good info. You're welcome, Jason. Thank you for watching. Catch Jitsu, I've checked other platforms. No one gets the views there. Apparently, Odyssey U can port all YouTube videos so you can back up. And believe it or not, I have almost all of my videos, and I'm over 450 videos now that I've posted to YouTube, and I have almost all of them saved on my hard drive. My computer that I have here is a 2 terabyte hard drive, and I think I've got 1 terabyte used up so far, and almost all of that is video. So I do at least still have those videos. I could repost them if I wanted to. Paul Freed, Jim Beam, Mother's Milk, grew up in Kentucky. All right, well, this one's for you then, Paul. JT is multitasking right now, looking at grabbing a few more handgun magazines for the key platforms, and a couple more would make you flush. And I hope you can find them. I hope you are able to get those. Derek Metcalf is here, and thank you for the emojis. Luke B, HR Funk has the best music in the community. That's a credit to my daughter. It's all her doing. She's the talented one. All I do is shoot things every once in a while and post videos. But she is the really talented person in the family. Her and my son both. He also is a very talented musician. John Doe, I think it would probably be less restricted. I'd probably talk about Pornhub. Thomas Fox actually scored a box of FMJ 9mm today, set you back $33. That's actually a pretty good deal. I was in a store last weekend, just 5 or 6 days ago, and it was going for $50 for plain old 115 grain full metal jacket. It was $1 a round, which I thought was just obscene. Joe Morgan, if the magazine ban comes back, will revolvers be making a comeback and be the new Glock 19? Possibly. That's a possibility. Kathleen is here, says, hey all. Thanks for joining us, Kathleen. Jaeger, Archon Type B pistol. Please check it out. I've seen something about those. I've not handled them. I don't think I've ever seen one in person, but if I get my hands on one, I'll let you know. There's a gun show tomorrow close by, so who knows what I might find there. Tad is saying that the trick for a new video platform is the issue of money needed to run and buy quality servers that aren't cheap. And I'm sure that's true. Eastern European / Asian garbage full of malware, yeah. Jaeger, have you ever shot a Luger P08 pistol? And your thoughts? Yes, I have. And they're cool. And I think I have that on a video somewhere. I know I have one with a P38. I think I have one with a P08. But cool experience. Just a neat pistol. At this point, they're well over a century old. What are they? 125 years old or thereabouts. But still fun to shoot. Interesting design. Something that's it catches my attention because I always kind of like those things that are just a little different. And the P08 is definitely a little different with that toggle link action. Han Solo is here. Have a backup of your data. Yeah, and that's one thing I need to do. I need to get an external hard drive. Oh, somebody, Paul Freed, is just giving me a $10 donation. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys just don't know how much I appreciate those things like that you do to support the channel. So thank you very much. And now I got to find where I was back here. I was talking about an external hard drive I need to get. Dan the Wolfman, I'm going to ruffle some feathers with my video tomorrow. Well, that's good. Maybe some feather ruffling is what's needed right now. Virginia 7 is here. Good evening to you. Eric Gannon, good evening from Phoenix, Arizona. Never been to Phoenix. I've actually never been in that part of the country. San Antonio, Texas is as far as I've gotten into the Southwest, and Very briefly, I was in San Diego, but never made it into the Arizona, New Mexico portion of the country, the real Southwest. And Crumbly Q is saying, hi, extra pork soba for HR. I mean, the old soba truck that used to come around Iwakuni Air Station. Kathleen, see all the anti-gun bills in the House. It's bananas. Yeah, it's just nuts right now. I agree. Tyson D, I'm doing fine. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. James C says, hi, Mr. Funk. What scope suggestions do you have for an M1A? Wow. The one that I like on there really harkens back to the Vietnam War. I really like the Leatherwood auto trajectory range finding scope, just because it does go back to that M21 sniper system, but there are a lot of other good ones. Now, one nice thing about that is it has the mount as part of the scope. So once you get the base on there, you just mount the scope on and you're good to go. Might need something to raise your cheek just a little bit to get the proper eye relief. The Jim Bowman, unreasonable people pay unreasonable prices for ammo. Yeah, I agree. And in fact, when I was in that store the other day, I didn't buy anything because I was just sort of disgusted by the whole thing. Plus, I still have some components here to load some of my own, and I've got a little bit of a stockpile, so I'm not in too bad a shape yet. Luke B, my grandpa told me that during the Great Depression, people had to buy ammunition 1 or 2 rounds at a time. And I suppose that's true. I hope we don't get back to that again. Tad is saying, also started preparing for filing taxes in a couple of weeks. Yeah, it is tax season. Been thinking of what guns to get with the refund and whether or not, oops, just lost it. Whether or not they pass the new 1,400 stimulus checks. Yeah. I wonder how many of those stimulus checks that have gone out so far have gone for firearms. That might be an interesting statistic to learn. Dale Kidd is saying, don't discount revolvers. He's actually talking to Joe Morgan on that. I agree. McFasto, listening while recording. Had a stock in components. And Thomas Fox, also, thank you for a $10 donation. Says one of his favorite channels out there. Keep up the great work, HR. All of us 2A supporters need to stick together. I agree. Have a great night. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for the donation. And thank you for watching and participating in the live stream tonight. Art Grote is here. I'm glad you made it. Don't worry about being late. South Dakota Hiker. Hello, HR. Have an idea for a video. What do you think would be a good self-defense handgun for someone with limited hand strength, revolver or auto loader? For limited hand strength, probably a semi-auto, but it's going to have to be something that you can charge. You might actually be looking at something like a 22 rimfire semi-automatic that's going to have a really light recoil spring. And that might be one of the times where, along with being able to cycle it, you also have light recoil with that reduced hand strength. That might be a situation where maybe a standard Ruger 22 might be just the perfect firearm for you. Jason Long, HR, what are your thoughts on the PTR 9CT in the process of SBRing one now? I had one of those for a review a while back, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great little firearm. It harkened back to that HK MP5 from years ago, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great little gun. Mark E is here. Eric Smiley, Smithville Gun Show tomorrow. That's right. And I just heard about that yesterday. I didn't know it was going to be there. So hopefully I'm going to make a run over to Smithville tomorrow and stop by the gun show. And if you're in the area, feel free to drop in and we'll go across the street and have coffee. How's that sound? James C, Mr. HR, any scope suggestions for an M1? And I just talked about that a minute ago. For the scope suggestion on the M1, probably I just like the Leatherwood with the M1A because it reminds me of that M21 sniper system from back in the Vietnam days. Dale Kidd or Joe Morgan. Okay, he's talking to Dale Kidd. Speaking of different, how about the older HK P7? The old squeeze cockers, I wish I had one of those. They're just cool. And I always think about those with the movie Die Hard, where Hans Gruber, played by Alan Rickman, has the H&K P7 in that movie. I'd like to have one because it's another one of those firearms. It's just a little different. But whenever you see those things these days, they're just insanely expensive. So I probably won't pick one up anytime soon, but I'd love to have one. Paul Freed on an IT tech run managed to okay, as offering to help if possible. Thank you very much, Paul. Bald and Curious is here. Hey, Val, how are you? Glad you made it. I'm kind of surprised you're not doing your own live stream this evening. Good luck finding a P7 for a decent price. Yeah, I know. James Pruitt better than anything on TV. Andy Griffith is coming on now, so you may have. Yeah, I love those old Andy Griffith shows. I'll still watch those when I come across them once in a while. They're still funny. Good comedy, good humor is timeless. It doesn't matter, and that is just great TV from back in the day. Marky just swallowed hard and bought his first Glock. And it's not bad. Good. And I'm glad it works well for you. I'm glad you like it. Joe Morgan spent all of his Rona money on guns. Good. That's the best thing to do with it. Any experience with a Rock Island Armory 1911? Just want to know. Yes, I've got a Rock Island 10 millimeter. I have a video on it from, it's probably been a year and a half ago now that I recorded that video, but I very much like that 1911. I think Rock Island makes very good firearms, and if you're looking at one, I would say don't hesitate. Go ahead, and you're going to end up with a pistol you like. Michael Davis, hey HR, from Little Mountain, South Carolina. Loved your video on the Galco shoulder holster. Good, I'm glad you liked that. I enjoyed that too, and I was really happy to get that in, and it was kind of funny the way it worked out. I told a story in the video where I just happened to go to Optics Planet and type that in, and it came up and it had that holster. And I thought, hey, I'll give that a try. And the gentleman that I work with through Optics Planet, his name is Cal. I sent him an email. I said, hey, can I get this? And he sent something back. Sure, that sounds like a good idea. He sent it, and the rest is history. Put the video together last Sunday, and that just went out this past Wednesday. So I'm glad you liked that. And Jason Long, he's talking to somebody else. Paul Freed, Smith & Wesson, easy for folks with limited hand strength. And it depends a lot on how limited their hand strength is, because the 380 can have a little bit of a snappy recoil, but if it's not too much for them, then that would probably be a good option as well. John Craig, Chief of Police in Santa Barbara, $250,000 a year. Please forgive me, John. I really don't want to move out to the West Coast, but thank you for the vote of confidence. I appreciate that. Dale Kidd says, damn, if the border was open, I might even be tempted to drive down to Smithfield. That'd be great. Come on down. Like I said, we'll go to the gun show and we'll have some coffee. It's a small gun show, so it's not going to take long to get through there. But the coffee shop is right across the street, and they have coffee, and they have some pastries to go along with it, too. Andrew Peterman is here. Glad to see you. Robert Paul, did you hear about the sweeping anti-gun bill filed in D.C. today? No, I did not hear that. But I believe we're in deep trouble, and I think we've all known that it's coming. We're just waiting to see how bad it's going to be. John Ree, yep, my hand is going. So also was interested in the weakness. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry to hear that, John. And Virginia 7 is recommending the Ruger LCR X22 Magnum. I have no experience with that one whatsoever, so I'll defer to him on that. Steve Detweiler is driving home. He's going to be listening. Good. Tad got HBO Max. Been bringing in old Popeye the Sailor cartoons. I thought I was the only one that remembered Popeye the Sailor. When I was a kid, I think it was really early on Saturday mornings, the Popeye the Sailor cartoons were on. And I always got up early for some reason. I'd be up there watching Popeye. Joe Morgan loves TV Land. Yeah, I believe there's a lot of those old TV shows that really are more interesting to me than anything that's on TV now. Nick Knox, watching from a rooftop in Korea. Really? It's been a long time since I was on a rooftop in Korea. It's been 30-something years. Holy smokes, am I that old? Jager, did you ever work with armor units while you were in the service? Not really. I was a military policeman, so I mean, to a degree, I sort of worked with everybody, but I didn't work, side by side with them while they were doing their job. John Diss is here, or Deese. Glad you made it. Kathleen is saying Washington State is getting as bad as California. It seems like the whole West Coast is just deteriorating. Andrew Peterman, tough call. Had a choice between watching the live feed or Spaceballs. That's another movie that I love. You can't go wrong with Mel Brooks. Spaceballs, Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, just great movies. Urban Sharpshooter, Alabama, Semper Fi. How's the ammo situation up your way? It's terrible. That's how I was talking about that a little while ago. If you can find anything, the prices are just outrageous. So it's just not good anywhere. Kathleen saying, so most people like Rock Island 1911. I like it. I can't speak for most people, but I can say I very much like the one that I have. Wouldn't mind having another one. Catch Jitsu, in your recent years in law enforcement, what were the most common backup guns carried, assuming 38 J frames and Glock 26? I'm seeing a lot of Smith & Wesson Shields these days. I see a few of the really small Kel-Tecs. You still see quite a few J frames up this way. Those are the ones that come to mind right off the top of my head. Mark E says the SIG 238 has a really easy recoil spring. That's good. I have no experience with that one either. So once again, I'll defer to him. Kathleen is asking what happened to the old Felix the Cat cartoons. I don't know what happened to all those old. Remember all the old cartoons, the Flintstones, Bugs Bunny, all those. None of that is on TV anymore. Thomas Falk, Gunsmoke. There's a TV show. Oh yes, Sunday mornings. I can remember watching Gunsmoke. We get home from church. It came on at like, I don't know, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, something like that. Sit there and watch Matt Dillon every week. Great show. Joe Morgan, I think for the money, the Taurus is a great revolver, just to casually enjoy. And I don't think I've shot a Taurus revolver recently. I've shot them way back, but I've not shot one of the more recent ones in a long time. Grumpian is joining us from Michigan. Thank you. Welcome. Robert Paul, check out Guns and Gadgets. He has a full story and will turn your blood cold. I'd rather not have my blood turn cold this evening. Sometimes it's nice being blissfully ignorant. Yes, Marky, I'm not going to repeat your comment there, but that movie is just funny. It's not racist at all. It's just funny. I love that movie, Blazing Saddles. Connor tags, plenty of Nerf bullets out there. Tad is saying it's all the Californians ran California into the ground. Now they're moving to places like his state in Utah. That's unfortunate. Joe Rademski says, I think the ammo situation will stay bad until the raw material situation improves. That could be. You might be right. And I'm just working my way down the feed here. Jager is saying, thanks. Is the vintage World War II era weapons still around at the Ohio gun shows? Some of them are. And if you go to something like the Ohio Gun Collectors Show, then there are people there that have full collections of those firearms. So we still see them from time to time. Nick Knox is looking at a Ronin 45. Those are cool pistols, and I think they've got one in 10 millimeter too. And I was kind of thinking about one of those in the back of my mind. That might be something I'm going to look at in the future. Samurai Chad has a Remington R1 1911. Did some work on it and love it. I love my Remington 1911s. For all of the bad publicity Remington got over the last few years that eventually led to their demise, I really like my Remington 1911s, and I've got, I think, 3 of them at this point. Andrew Peterman, The Rifleman, was one of his favorites. Another cool old TV show. Boomerang had cartoons, but YouTube has the older cartoon. I have looked up some of the cartoons that I used to watch as a kid on YouTube just because they're fun. Even as an adult, fun to go back and watch those. John Rhee got replaced by anime. Yeah, I guess so. All the old programs have been bought up by Netflix, HBO, etc. Yeah, it'd be nice if they'd show them once in a while. Jaeger, thoughts on the 5.7 millimeter, either Ruger or FN? I don't have any firsthand knowledge of that cartridge or those pistols. I've handled the pistols a couple of times. It's one of those cartridges I'm kind of lukewarm to. I'm not sure really how much you get over and above a 22 Magnum with the 5.7. Maybe someday I'll get a hold of one and do some testing with it. But again, I don't have any firsthand experience with it right now. And now I got to find where I was. Grumpian says they have a station there in the Detroit area called H&I, plays all the older TV shows. That's good. And I think we might have a station here too, but I don't watch much regular TV anymore just because I don't like it. Everybody's now quoting lines from Blazing Saddles. Dale Kidd says, time for the new Confederacy. Marty Lauderdale says, I got a new 380 Shield Easy back in November for $430. Good. Glad you got that. I'm glad you like it. Thomas Fox has a Taurus 8-shot Model 608, and he loves it. Good. Good. I'm always glad that the firearms you guys got are working well for you and you like them. Which revolver would you recommend for a woods carry hunting backup? I want a 4.5-inch 357 Magnum GP100 Smith & Wesson Model 66 Combat Magnum or 686 Taurus Tracker. A lot of it depends on how much shooting you're going to do with it. If you're going to do a lot of shooting with Magnums, I would go with the Ruger. If you want something that's going to be an easy packing firearm that you're going to do some 357 Magnums, but also some 38 Specials, then I would go with the Smith & Wesson 66. Taurus Tracker, I really can't say much about one way or the other because I have no experience with it. And Tad is saying, I believe the ammo situation is part of the supply chain. Screwy, backed up. Yeah, and I also wonder about some of the distributors out there and just how much they're holding back and waiting for the price to go up and all of that. Siondo is here from Missouri. Used to live in Lake County, Ohio, not too terribly far away from me. Glad you made it here. And Jager is saying, great show was Laramie. I don't know if I ever saw Laramie. I heard of it, but I don't know if I ever saw it. And I'm just going down through the feed again. Eric Smiley, loved the Dan Wesson 1911 Valor. Dan Wesson makes good firearms. That's all there is about it, or all there is to it. Risby 1930 purchased Fulton Armory M16 with the fun switch. Largely on your recommendation. Very pleased. Good. I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you like it. I love mine. Enjoy your channel very much. Yes, I'm an old guy. Well, that's okay. From one old guy to another, thank you for watching. Joe Morgan is talking about anime is terrible. Yeah, I'm not much of an anime fan. My daughter watched that. She's 17. She likes the anime stuff. I don't. Dale Kidd, the rifleman killed over 120 men during his 8-year TV run. I wonder who counted all that. Crumbly Q, Big Chuck and Little Johns. Oh my! Now you're talking about something I like. I used to love Big Chuck and Little John. For all of you not from the Northern Ohio area, they had a TV show on Friday nights. They would show the old 1950s horror movies, the old black and white movies, and they would do these little skits in the commercial breaks and things like that. It's a part of Northern Ohio history that I really, really like. I love those old skits, and I do still watch those on YouTube every now and then because they're all on there. If you want to see what I'm talking about, look up Big Chuck and Little John skits on YouTube, and you'll see some of those on there. Flintlock. When are you going to get a flintlock? I need to get one. I know. People have been yelling at me for a long time to get a flintlock. I know where there's one for sale right now. I could go get it if I wanted to. It's a, oh shoot. Can't think of the name of the company right now. But there's a flintlock on the wall of a gun shop nearby here. Maybe I'll go grab that one of these days. It's been there for a long time. But yeah, I need to get a flintlock. And Clan Mama, what would you recommend for a female first-time concealed carry? I get this question a lot, and it depends so much on the individual and how familiar she is with a firearm, or how familiar she's not with a firearm, how mechanically inclined she might be. I usually try to steer new, inexperienced firearms owners toward double action revolvers because they are so simple and easy to use. But again, it's very, very dependent on the individual. Tad is saying all the ammo is not earmarked, pre-sold. Gets to stores, bought by hoarders. Yes. People get to the store first thing in the morning. Yeah. And unpopular calibers are on the shelves. And that's what I noticed the other day when I was at the store. There were a few oddball calibers on there, like 730 Watters and things like that, but none of the things that are more popular. Andrew Peterman's going to hit the Medina Gun Show this weekend. Good. I don't think I realized there was a gun show in Medina this weekend. I've been busy lately making videos and working and things like that, so I've kind of feel like I've been in an information vacuum. And I'm not sure what happened. We just had a big jump here on the feed. I'm going to try to find where I was. Bungo like candy. Yep. Another great line from Blazing Saddles. And there's somebody, got to find who it was. Oh, ERJG is with us with a $10 donation. Wanted AK video. I know. Sooner or later, I'll get an AK. I'll make a video. But thank you very, very much for that $10 donation, ER. I appreciate that. And now I got to find where I was back here on the feed. Robert Hahn, new to the rifle world. Rifle range much farther away. Can do dry fire drills. What are good drills for a beginner to do? Practice, getting into a good stance or a good position, lining up your sights, squeezing off good shots, get used to that trigger, get used to, depending on the type of shooting you're doing. If you're doing something like service rifle competition where you're in those good positions, do it just like you would be doing in a match with the same thing you would be wearing, and try to make it as realistic as you can, because you can get a lot of benefit out of dry fire training. Tad is saying, raise a glass to Frau Blucher. I'm listening for the horses. Catch Jitsu, Paul Harrell's recent video with the Ruger 5.7 is a good pistol. Cartridge does real crappy damage compared to the 9mm. Tons of money for what purpose? Yeah, I keep questioning whether or not it's really that much better performance than a 22 Magnum. Grizzly Tobacco, still loving your Remington. I'm not sure which one you mean. If you're talking about the 1911s, yes, very much so. Oh, Remington New Model Army. Yeah, I've got two of them. I got the Sheriff's model and I got the full size. Love them both. I really enjoy shooting those. And if you saw the video from last week with the cartridge conversion of the New Model Army, that was also a lot of fun to shoot. Grumpian watches Adam 12 every day. I remember watching that when I was a very young child. Haven't seen it in a long, long time. What semi-automatic pistol would you recommend as a backup pistol while hunting? Depends a little bit on what you're hunting. If it's something that might decide to take a chunk out of you, if it's not happy about you hunting it, then I might want something like a Desert Eagle. But if it's most things that you might have out there, just a 1911 and 45 ACP or 10mm would probably do fine. Typically, if I'm in the woods, though, I go the revolver route, and something like a warm 44 Special or 44 Magnum is going to solve most of the problems I'm going to have in the woods. Jeff Sams finally made it. Glad you made it, Jeff. Scott D. Bruin, are there any particular drills you practice for a handgun? Just like I was talking about with the rifles a little while ago, I do a lot of handgun dry fire practice. And it's not really a formal thing with the handguns. I'm not sure why I'm losing my voice. But just working the action, getting my hands and my muscle memory built up to the way the pistol feels, the way the trigger feels, and all of that are the kind of things that I do with the handguns. And then when I get out and shoot, everything sort of falls into place. Luke B., what's your opinion on the Ruger Service Security / Speed 6? Good revolvers, very good revolvers. I mean, they were the precursor to the GP100 that we have today. And if you find some of those older Rugers, they're very good firearms. John Reed, flintlock, what? No match? Okay. I'm sorry, no matchlock. And Brian Lee, hello. Have you ever tried cowboy shooting competition? No, I haven't, but I would like to. And there are some competitions not too terribly far away from me that one of these days I might just dress up and put on my cowboy hat and load up the revolver and head off to there and try some cowboy action shooting. I think it'd be fun. Ah, Black Rifle is here. Hi, Rick. Glad to see you. Clan Mama. Oops, just took a big jump there. And now I can't find where I was. Marky, appreciate that I can watch your channel and not worry about the kids. And that, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I talked about this a while ago. I really try to make my videos family friendly. I don't want a situation where if anybody has their kids watching, or the kids walk through the room, their wife walks through the room, or whatever, they hear some kind of blaring profanity or something like that. It's important to me to present to all of you and to people around the world. It never escapes my attention that on YouTube, I'm representing myself, I'm representing police officers, I'm representing former Marines, I'm representing American firearms owners to the world. And I take that very seriously. And I want to put the best image that I can out there for everyone to take in. So thank you again for saying that. I appreciate you making that comment and for noticing. Tad, any experience with either a Beretta APX or PX4 Storm? Only in handling them. I've never shot one. And I'd like to get a hold of an APX one of these days and do some shooting with that. I think they're interesting. I've heard a lot of good things about the PX4, so if I can get one of those also, I'll let you know what I think of it. Steve Detweiler, have you watched the John Wick movies? What do you think of the firearms used in his technique? I finally, not too long ago, watched the very first John Wick movie, and it was just a little over the top for me. It was okay. It was something to watch, but I'm not a ginormous fan of the John Wick movies like some folks. As far as the techniques that he used in the shooting, again, it all was just a little over the top. It was a little hard for someone who has spent a lifetime training and shooting to watch the way that's presented in the movie is just a little hard to swallow. So sorry if that wasn't the answer you were looking for. Grumpy, and we had the Ghoul in Detroit. We had the Ghoul here in Ohio too, and I didn't realize he was on in Detroit as well. Low budget horror flicks, yeah. Back in that same time frame, I can remember watching the Ghoul. Dale Kidd says when this bloody pandemic ends, he's going to bring his flintlock down and we can play. That's great, Dale. Bring it down. We'll have some fun. Catch Jitsu, 45 gap is going to make a comeback. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Joe Morgan, it's gotten bad enough that there are shortages on cap and ball revolvers and components. I've noticed that. It's hard to even find a cap and ball revolver these days, let alone the components. Mr. Booch says, Mr. Funk, you need a new Birdie Colt Walker replica. It would triple your testosterone. I would probably do that. And my feed just took another jump again. So forgive me if I missed some of your comments, because periodically this thing just jumps and all of a sudden I'm not where I was anymore, and it goes past a lot of comments. So again, I apologize if I missed some of your comments on here. Smith & Wesson 45 Colt revolver, Woods gun. Yeah, pretty much anything chambered in 45 Colt is going to make a good Woods gun. Catch Jitsu says the 327 Magnum is interesting. It is interesting. I tend to go for the more conventional, 357 or 38 special, but there's nothing wrong with a 327. Matus Fakeman, what do you think of HR 127, pure communism? If you mentioned this crap already, sorry for the red. I'm sorry to say, if that's the one that was introduced today, I don't know anything about it. I wasn't watching the news today, so I'm not familiar with exactly what has been introduced. Rich Powers is here. Thank you for joining us, Rich. Ray Chandler referred to your weight loss video to some of his family members via the self-discipline. Thank you very much. About the same weight as when we went through the Army Ranger School 45 years ago. Good for you. Good job. Still no workouts. I do some push-ups and sit-ups in the morning, and that's about it. Not anything, extensive or anything like that. Just kind of my own little routine is all I do. Losing your voice, take a drink. Joe Rademski says the APX is a really good trigger. I really would like to try it just because it's a Beretta. And somebody else just made a donation, Paul Freed, $10. Thank you, Paul, again for another $10 donation. I appreciate that. Tim Nelson, or Smith & Wesson J-frame revolvers from the Performance Center worth the extra cost? I think so. I've got one Performance Center J-frame. It has a very nice action. It's got some nice polishing on it. It's not a lot more expensive than the standard J-frames. So for what I got in that package, I think it was worth the extra money. Tad is saying, you ever see Bruce Willis? Did you ever see the Bruce Willis movie Last Man Standing? I did. It's been a long time ago, and I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I do know that I saw that movie. Pirate Bob, evening, Chief, just catching up. Thank you for joining us. Did you ever watch Act of Valor? Act of Valor. I'm not sure. Active duty Navy SEALs playing their parts. You know what? Now that I think about it, I remember that. I did not see it. So no, I can't comment on that one. Chris Ciampo is here. Hi, Chris. Glad you made it. 500 CCI mini mags for $179.99. Holy smokes. Crumbly Q worked at the Palace in Painesville before running off to Paris. Oh, running off to Paris Island. Converted old movie theater to a nightclub, concert venue. Had Meatloaf in 1977. Cool. You had my favorite singer there. I've been a lifelong Meatloaf fan. And this thing just took another jump. Rabbi says, been considering getting some 22 revolvers. Ruger Wrangler looks good. Rick from Black Rifle did a review on the Ruger Wrangler a while back. He really likes his. I've not handled one yet, but I would take Rick's word for it. And he's very happy with the one he has. Let's see. And again, I got to get down through here and figure out where we are. Bring back dueling. Joe Rademski, HR 127 is a national registry. Sheila Jackson Lee submits every year, but never gets a co-sponsor. Okay. All right, good. So it sounds like that's not going to go anywhere, or at least hopefully it won't go anywhere. Mark Jones, what are your thoughts on countries that have unarmed police force like Ireland and the UK? I was in the UK back in, I think it was 2012. And there were two police officers there in London. I was in London when this happened. A particular individual called in a false burglary report, and 2 London police officers responded. And when they got there and got out of their car, he shot them both with an AK-47 and then blew them up with a hand grenade. And if you look this up, you can find this story on the internet still. And I remember they talked to the news media in London talked to some of the other police officers, and they said, in view of this, do you think some of you should start to arm yourselves or be able to be armed like police officers in the United States? And I will never forget this officer talking on camera said, we wouldn't want to be armed because we don't want to have a separation between us and our community because we're carrying firearms. And I thought that was so foreign to my way of thinking that he thought just because he had a firearm that somehow that would cause a divide between he and his community. And it's a completely different way of thinking. I respect those guys. I should say those officers, because they have female officers as well. I respect them. I respect the job they do, but I would not want to do my job without being armed. Did you find the shout out from Hickok 45? Yeah, I did. I went back and I watched. It was like an hour and 12 minutes into his hour and a half Sunday talk around, but I did see that. So that was cool. How great is that for, of all the people Hickok could have mentioned, he mentioned me in my channel. So that was great. And let's see, how long have we been doing this here? Just over an hour. And it's probably about time for me to wrap this up since I am starting to lose my voice. But thank you very much to all of you who participated this evening. Like I said, this was just spur of the moment. I decided to sit down and hit the go live button and have some fun here. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate all the donations. I appreciate all of the great comments from all of you. I've got the new video premiere going live tomorrow, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And there will be the live chat there. If any of you want to join in, please join us. It'll be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But that'll be up. It's going to be my top 10 favorite movie clips featuring the use of firearms. So, and this one is just for fun. It's all intended to be fun. It's an enjoyable video. And I hope as many of you as possible can join us. And other than that, I'll see you next time. I'll fire this up. We'll do another live stream in the near future. Hopefully I won't be losing my voice when we get around to that one. But thank you again. And as always, till next time, good shooting, everyone, and good night. Bye-bye.